So today's video is going to be a little bit different. Today I'm going to talk about my experience with braces. So I made the decision to have braces put on my teeth at the age of 41. I had them removed October 2016. So at the age of 14, I got braces on my upper teeth and my lower teeth. I also had a headgear that I wore at night, and I also had elastics that I wore to try and correct my overbite and bring my jaw forward. So I had all of this removed when I was 17. So after all this was removed, I was given a retainer. And retainers back in the 80s and 90s were very clunky devices. They had like an acrylic plate and then a wire that went across to secure everything into place and make sure your teeth didn't shift. So I wore this device for about 2 years after I had my braces removed. And then my very large Akita puppy destroyed it. And me being the responsible teenager I was at the time, never got it replaced. So when I had braces, I think it was right before I had my braces put on, I had my upper back molars pulled. I didn't have my lower back molars. I don't know why they didn't do it, but my upper back molars were pulled. So shortly after I stopped wearing my retainer, my wisdom teeth broke through, and because I wasn't wearing a retainer that held everything into place, all my front teeth shifted forward. So this is what my teeth ended up looking like the vast majority of my 20s and 30s. And I just sort of accepted it. My bottom teeth stayed the same. They didn't move because I have a permanent wire right back here. So that held everything into place and prevented them from moving. So over time, I just sort of accepted how my teeth ended up looking. I didn't like how they looked, so I just eventually stopped smiling in photos, or I would avoid smiling in photos altogether. I guess my main excuse for not doing anything about it up until I turned 40 was I thought it would be too expensive. I thought I couldn't afford it. But at the age of 41, I basically decided enough is enough. I'm not happy with how I look, and if I don't do this now, I am never going to get it done. So if you're thinking about getting braces, there are several different kinds you can get. There are the traditional metal kind. There are the kind that I ended up choosing, which are the ceramic braces, which look like the metal ones except they're clear. There is Invisalign, which it's kind of funny. My brother, once he saw my teeth, he decided he was going to get them done as well, and now he's 40. So he ended up choosing Invisalign for his treatment. And this is just, I was given one of these trays as just a retainer to sleep in, but this is what they look like, and so this is just what they look like in, and I don't normally talk in them, which is why I sound so funny and I'm slurring. There's also something called sublingual braces, which they're like the metal braces. They're the metal braces, but instead of sitting on the outside of the tooth, they're on the inside. The reason why I chose the ceramic braces over Invisalign was because there was the very slim possibility that I might need either jaw surgery or I might need further treatment on my lower teeth and jaw to try and work on correcting this overbite. But when my orthodontist examined my progress, he decided, after looking at pictures of my side profile, I have a very sharp chin, I guess is the only way to put it. It sticks out a bit. So if he were to correct my overbite, like my chin would be like out, it would be way out, it would overpronounce. So what should you expect if you decide to get braces? Well, the most obvious thing is it's going to hurt. It's going to hurt. There's no other way around it. It's funny, when I made the decision to do this, I think I had blacked out all of the experiences that I went through as a child with headgear and getting my braces tightened, because the very first day I had the brackets on my teeth and they were stringing the wires through and tightening, my first thought was, dear God, what have I done? I don't know if I can do this. So the first tightening for me was probably the most painful, only because I wasn't used to it. I even went to visit my mom later on that day, and she took one look at me and she's like, that one tooth that was over to the side has already moved. I mean, you've only had these things on for a few hours. Other than that, most of the tightenings were fairly normal. The only one that was slightly more painful was my two front teeth had a bit of a gap in between them. So he wanted to bring them as close together as possible to close that gap. So my orthodontist ended up double banding those teeth as well as a wire in order to like seal them shut. It hurt, I won't lie, it wasn't pleasant, but on the really bad days I would just pop. I don't even really think I used that much Advil. I think I used Advil once or twice when it was just so painful I couldn't take it anymore. So I had my braces tightened every 6 weeks. The first 2 weeks after an adjustment was probably the most painful. After that, I could usually get away with eating whatever I wanted, with exceptions. There were certain foods I stayed away from completely. I didn't eat carrots. If I had apples, I always chopped them up in small little bits. And even then, I only ate them after I knew that the worst of the pain was over. So I ate a lot of softer food, mashed potatoes, oatmeal, rice, quinoa. I would eat vegetables if they were cooked. I stayed away from raw vegetables only because it was just too painful to chew them. Even the ones that were softer still required a heck of a lot of chewing in order to break them up. For fruit, the best type of fruits were, again, fruits that were softer: blueberries, raspberries, oranges, strawberries, as long as they were cut up and I didn't have to bite into them, because my front teeth were in a lot of pain during that time, that even like biting into something as soft as a strawberry still was really uncomfortable. As far as how much this cost, for myself, mine only cost $1,000. And the reason why this was so affordable for me was because I went back to my original orthodontist that treated me when I was a teenager. So I ended up paying $100 a month for 10 months. So, okay, this is just something else. If you're a little squeamish about things, you may want to consider the metal braces over the ceramic, because the ceramic braces are just that. They are pieces of ceramic, so when they are removed, they tend to shatter. At one point during my treatment, I had to have my 2 front brackets just slightly repositioned. It's just one of those things. It's just not a fun feeling. It's just, it doesn't hurt. It just, I can't really describe it. It's very squeamish. It's like nails on a blackboard. It's just one of those things that, it's just one of those things I just don't want to go through again. I'll just leave it at that. It's just uncomfortable. Yeah, just be aware of that though, that the ceramic ones, when they are removed, they crack and explode. And so if you're squeamish about that sort of thing, you may consider the metal braces or Invisalign over the ceramic braces. So I've had these off for a little over a year, not quite a year and a half, but over a year. The last thing I want is my teeth shifting again. So I have, as I mentioned earlier, I have a permanent wire that's old from when I was a kid behind my lower teeth, and that prevented my bottom teeth from shifting. So my orthodontist this time gave me a similar wire up here as well, which obviously I can't show. So that wire stretches across my top 4 teeth and it's just glued in behind, and that just prevents anything from shifting around. I also have my little Invisalign retainer that I sleep in at night, and I don't have them here, but when I floss, I have these little threaders that I use to thread like above where the gum line is to floss my teeth. So I think I covered everything, but if you have any other questions regarding ceramic braces, just leave them in the comment section below and I'll try and answer them. But if you have any questions about Invisalign, I can't personally answer them, but my brother is in the middle. I think he's in his 4th month of treatment. He's doing this for 2 years, I believe. Don't quote me on that. I'll have to ask him. But yeah, if you have any questions about Invisalign, let me know in the comments section and I'll go pester him and see if he can answer them for you. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe before you leave. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye!